Boom. So I just want to remind everybody that our word for the month is cadence. And it's so important, right? A lot of, I got a couple of voxes over the last couple of days of people saying, oh, I haven't been able to do stuff for the last couple of weeks, but then I was able to, sit down and cram and do a whole bunch of stuff last night. And a lot of our entrepreneurial, journeys, if we were to do a chart, like a crazy out of whack sine wave, right? And if you see something like that, and you compare it to a chart, let's put it above here, we compare it to another chart, which is like this, just which one, if we've got A or B, right? So we've got a chart A is just a lovely straight line, very little variation, versus B, which is up and down and crazy. Which one do you think is, and it doesn't matter whether it's life, whether it's business, whether it's anything, which one do you think would deliver the more stress? The straight line A or the crazy line B? Right there, people are answering B, 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 B. This, particularly when you're starting out on a new project, this is the challenge, right? This is the real problem, is getting the, you start with fits and spurts, and anything that works like that. Like if you've got a load bearing part, right? Say for a bridge or something, it's not like on a bridge. If there's a constant stress, you can build for that. You can design for that. You can get that understandable. Where bridges get into real trouble is where the vibration changes, right? And they've realized that they have to create bridges now so that they aren't completely rigid because of the variability of vibrations and things that are needed, right? So what is so important for me to get you to establish in your project is a cadence. And that is where there is a base level of effort that you're putting into your project. And we measure that effort through the concept of CFTs. Okay, so we measure that through CFTs. So they are 50-minute periods of time where we are focused. We turn off our dings and whistles and bells and notifications. We put our phone on airplane mode and we focus on delivery, right? We are working, creating, building our products, building our funnels, creating advertising experiments. We're doing things which will propel our business forward. Being the failed physics genius that I am, you have a situation when something's at the top of the hill, it's full of potential energy, but there's no actual energy. And it's only when you nudge it off said hill that potential energy turns to its kinetic energy. And it's the kinetic energy that makes stuff happens, right? That rock is not going to hurt anybody standing still. But if you turn it into kinetic energy, it's going to seriously hurt somebody that's standing below it. Now, that's not the nicest metaphor, actually, now I think about it, but it's true. And the same with your business, right? If you are not actually moving the rock, if you're not turning that potential energy into kinetic energy, getting stuff out of your head, watching passively on video, doing all of those sorts of things, and actually pressing start on a Facebook campaign, actually writing for 50 minutes on your Sage document, designing a new funnel and putting it down on paper. That is the kinetic energy of your business. That is the thing that will actually make your business move forward. Because when there's no energy applied to an object, guess what? It doesn't move. Same with your business. So it's really important for me to make sure that there is a baseline of energy that you're putting into your business every week. And I often talk about a minimum of 2 50-minute sessions. There's a potential for 164 sessions a week, and I would like to think that at least 56 of those sessions you're sleeping, right? So, and then for a lot of you, there's another at least 40 sessions there where you're working, earning money, making sure that you've got resources to be able to cover the obligations that you have in your life, be it rent, food, college fees, whatever it happens to be. Okay, but that still means that there are still the potential for quite a few CFTs left over. But when we add in our knowledge now of willpower and our collective need for energy in our brain and all the elements that I talk about again and again and again with our knowledge of what makes peak performance, if you're not doing at least 2 50-minute sessions a week, strikes me that it's just not a serious priority. This is a hobby. And that's okay. It's cool to have hobbies. I like, I'll go out and play golf twice a year, but I'm under no illusions that I'm going to hit the senior tour anytime soon, right? Because I'm not putting the effort, I'm not putting the energy in there. But I get a couple of little things that make it work. I think education and entrepreneurship, little tidbits of information are like crack cocaine, right? They are it's the equivalent of hitting a ball 250 yards straight down the fairway. You do that once in 18 rounds, 18 holes of golf, and you'll come back again, right? You'll forget all of the horrific shots, well, most of them anyway, because there's so many, but you will remember that good one. Same with, attending a session like this and you're intellectually energized and you think, oh, this is great, right? But the reality is that sitting here and getting intellectually energized means nothing, right? It's only by pushing go on that Facebook ad, by pressing publish on that Sage document, by pressing start on that funnel document, by accepting that first mini chat. Those are the things that mean your business is going forward. That's why when we delineate what a CFT is, what a critical focus time is, it's when you're doing those things, when you're applying energy to your business. And that is what will move it forward. By definition, it's physics. It's got to be true. Okay, so what I'd love to, just to make sure you're all here, 30 seconds. What was the biggest takeaway from that little Cadence lecture? What's the takeaway for you when we're looking at Cadence and what it means in terms of building in a baseline of this type of process? Difference between potential and kinetic, momentum. To be doing something, getting the base going and knowing your direction. Doing is key. Don't usually have 50 minutes. Can I divide it into smaller chunks? There are 25-minute chunks. There are, as long as they're religious. And if you're doing 25-minute chunks, make sure you're doing commensurately 4. You're doing at least 4. But you have the potential to be shortchanging yourself if you're only doing 25-minute chunks, depending on what the work is. Regular energy of CFTs will move it forward. Slow and steady wins the race. Yes, I even published they did a rematch on Japanese TV. They weren't convinced the first time that the tortoise beat the hare, that the tortoise won and beat the hare comprehensively. They actually did a rematch on TV just last week, and yet again, the tortoise won the race. It is true, right? So it's science. We saw it with our own eyes. All right, folks, let's get into our engage session.